unfortunately, I've been keeping up with the Ethan Klein and Hasan debate and the iDubbbz thing, and God, it's so... I've never seen a more unwell man flipping out. I think that Ethan Klein has a lot of valid points. And even I'm like, go on holiday, brother. Take one day off. Streaming is not for you, man. Streaming is not for anyone, but it's absolutely, definitely not for Ethan. I don't think I've watched a more rapid decline of a man's mental state while they live stream since Etika threw himself off a bridge. I don't think I've watched someone become more mentally unwell for a long time on this website. I don't know. I don't know how you can stream for 5 hours every day about a genocide and insane psychos calling CPS on your fucking children, and then turn the stream off and be a present father to your children and a happy, good husband. I don't think that's possible. How the fuck do you de-stress after work when all you do on stream is argue with people that want to see you kill yourself for 5 hours and bemoan the fact that no one has any sympathy for you, when really what you should be doing is, I don't know, watching TikToks of people be silly and go, that guy's dumb, let me tell you why. Like watching Ethan Klein scream at Hasan Piker, who is screaming back at him for 4 hours, and then not only just both of them, but both of their audiences leave thinking, that guy is 100% wrong. I was just like, this is so unbelievably fucking pointless. Nothing was achieved. No progress was made. And kids are still getting bombed in refugee camps. This feels like a giant distraction, you know? Ethan Klein's sitting there sniffing and screaming, going, oh, why did people call CPS on my kids? Why did people call CPS on my kids, Hasan? Do you hate Israel and Jews? And then Hasan's going, hey, don't judge my character. People in a country over there are getting killed. You can't judge my character because that the genocide's more important. Like no one is making any valid points. They're just it's just two friends fighting. When what they should have done is have a phone call and figure it out. You know? I think that Ethan Klein is for like one of the most famous Jews on YouTube. I think that he could be a pretty good ally to the Free Palestine movement. But because he won't go as far to say that Israel should be turned into glass, he's some, you know, pro-Bibi Netanyahu terrorist guy. And then Hasan Piker is like, you know, pro-Palestine, but because he won't acknowledge the damage that was done to Israeli civilians, he's seen as like some fucking Hamas supporting terrorist, and the cycle continues on forever. I don't know. I just think that it's such a distraction from the actual fucking issue. And like, you can't go on the internet now to make up your mind about Israel, Palestine, or help anyone without looking at some guy who did a really bad black dye job to hide his grays wearing a merchandise that a toddler would wear, just Tourette'sing a 5-hour rant about some fucking Twitch streamer that didn't even call CPS on his kids. And or you get to watch that Twitch streamer like play terrorist propaganda and be like, dude, how cool is this music? And then be like, what do you mean this isn't productive to the conversation? What do you mean this doesn't help my cause or any civilians? I don't know. Here's what I think, right? I've got the answer. I think that they should stop killing each other. How? No idea. But I do think that that maybe my tax dollars shouldn't be paying for the bombs that are landing on the children. That'd be a great start. I'm not stoked about that, you know? How about this? Why don't we just give both Israel and Palestine the Iron Dome? and then they're allowed to kill each other, but it has to be with swords. You know, you have to do it face to face. That would probably solve a lot of problems if we said, no, war is legal, but you got to do it face to face, no projectiles. Even better, it has to be the leaders duking it out, you know? Like it just has to be Bibi Netanyahu versus leader of Hamas. Right? And we can do it in a tunnel, we can do it in a refugee camp, wherever you want to do it, but it's got to be fisticuffs and whoever wins, wins. Instead of all of these fucking people getting blown to bits over essentially what an old book says is their territory. It's just like, every time I talk about it, I'm like, this is just, it feels very silly that it's happening at all. And I think that it should stop. And when more people are talking about two fucking influencers having a hissy fit on a live stream over Discord than the actual fucking people getting blown to bits, it's like, what the fuck are we doing? And then somehow iDubbbz and his boxing event is fucking wrapped into this as well. It seems like the biggest civilian casualty is Creator Crash 3 out of the whole Israel-Palestine battle. The biggest civilian casualty is Creator Clash 3. It looks like it's probably going to be a bit of a flop, which is a shame. Here's the thing though. I don't know why the fuck as any sort of content creator you would ever want to run any sort of live event. Right? And I say this, I run all my own touring. Right? But out of every live performance, stand-up comedy is the easiest one to organize because worst case scenario, if there's less than 200 people at the show, I probably could do the show by yelling no microphone. And I'm tall enough to not need a stage. You guys could sit on the floor. I could yell for 55 minutes and we'd call it a day. Everyone would have fun, right? So absolute worst case scenario, I reckon maybe even if there were 500 people in a room, I could yell loud enough for the back to hear. You've heard this podcast, right? But I would have to say that boxing or any sort of event that has violence in it would have to be absolutely the hardest event to organize because there's the legal shit and insurance and boxing commissions and this and judges and this and all that shit. Add on to the fact that it's going to be live streamed, which is a production headfuck, and filmed, and it's not even really your event. You got to organize like 20 different people to come together, and you got to make sure that they're training, and you got to sell the tickets, and you got like I don't know why the fuck you would want to do it, because it's almost impossible. Clearly, as we've seen, as the first one was good, the second one went wrong, and the third one looks like it might not even happen at all. And then to like wrap in your event that isn't really supposed to be about you with like the biggest fucking drama that's happening online that is inseparable from a fucking genocide happening over in the Middle East. What else was going to happen, really? The only way to bring back the Creator Clash 3, man, is to have Hasan versus Sam Hyde. That's the only thing that's going to revive this event and make people attend and view. I don't know. I think that it's weird and unfair, the amount of criticism that Ian has copped and especially his wife, Anissa. It's very unfair how much shit they've copped. I mean, no one called CPS on their kids, so they can be grateful for that, but they don't have any. Maybe if they have a kid, they'll be getting a knock at the door. God forbid. But it is also like, man, if you are running an event that big, yeah, you can't make videos. Like you got to pick one or the other. You know, the only way to do it is to do it like what KSI and Logan Paul did, which is just to fucking completely give the organizing away to like a third party that's done it before, and you know, get it streamed on a platform that's not yours. To do all of it yourself is an immense amount of work to take on. And I know this as someone who, I mean, I've been doing my own tours for going on 11 years now, every year other than COVID. I've been doing my own touring. It is so much work to do these shows, and it's just stand-up comedy, and I'm the only act, and they're relatively small. To add in streaming and this and that and 20 different people being involved and making it a charity event, it's like biting off more than you can chew. It's not a surprise that it's kind of fallen apart. And it's a shame because, you know, it's a charity event. You want, you know, I want it to do well. So many people are celebrating that Creator Clash 3 is like had gone through a lot of setbacks and is looking like it could fall apart entirely, and that the talent are dropping out and shit like that. But like, that's awful because it's a charity event. You know, you hear about a charity event, you want it to do well. But yeah, I don't know. It's just so fucking, this whole thing is so fucking weird and lame. And if, more so the Ethan versus Hasan thing, right? It's so fucking lame, dude. And it doesn't help anyone. And it all comes down to like two people doing a show disagreeing on some parts of a thing because they mostly agree with each other. You know, like even Ethan is saying the IDF is a terrorist organization, except for his wife. And like they pretty much agree with each other. Like both of them should be mature enough to go, look, we're mostly aligned with this, but it's these couple things that we disagree with, but time will tell who's right. The point is, let's stop all of these, let's lend our voices to stop all of these fucking civilians getting turned into mints. Right? But instead, it's just them flinging shit at each other at the expense of, you know. Although, who am I to speak for the Palestinian people? Maybe they're all locked into their iPads in the refugee camps. You know, half of them are sitting in Team Ethan, the other half in Team Hasan. You know, maybe that's where all those live viewers are coming from. I mean, fuck, there's probably not much else to do if you're stuck in a refugee camp waiting for rockets to fall on your civilian head. You know, you might as well spend the last few moments of your life enjoying the wonders of Western entertainment. Some very mentally unwell man screaming about another very mentally unwell man for 5 hours while Asmongold reacts to it on YouTube and says, wow, grossing $1 billion in the process. While all three of them pay taxes towards a giant death machine that rains fire from the sky onto women and children that are sheltering in a hospital.